Hey guys, I'm Bobby Lewis here with Dale Sellers. We're looking forward to the conference coming up on June the 22nd, and just wanted to talk with him about a couple of things coming up. One of the things that I'm curious about is, in talking with you over the past, there was a statement that you made that really kind of got my attention, and that was that in one of the conferences that you were in, there was an opportunity where some colored lights were turned on. You you mentioned that you asked those colored lights to be turned off, and when you said that, I thought this guy gets it. This guy gets the fact that there are churches that are not looking for the glitz and the glamour. There are church pastors that are looking for just down to earth, real growth opportunities and looking at their church and those kind of things. Tell me a little bit more about why small church conference.
Well, first of all, man, I'm so excited to be in Pelham, Alabama, home of Dabo Sweeney, Crimson Tigers head coach. And I'm not going to wear any orange when I'm down there because I know better.
There you go.
But I'm so excited to be there. And Bobby, our thing is we love the small church. At 95 Network, we understand that 95% of all the churches in America, they have less than 500 people attending. 87% have less than 200 attending, and somewhere around 75% of all the churches in America have less than 100 people attending, and that was before the pandemic. And so the small church is the backbone of the church in America, but I feel like it's often just so looked over and under resourced. And so we have a real specific desire to make this day about giving you some great information that works. Now, when we talk about growth at 95 Network, the first thing we want you to understand is we're talking about health. If you have a church of 40 that's not healthy, we don't want you to become a church of 200 because you'll make a bigger mess. So our focus is on getting you healthy. And so we like to do our conferences in a very just calm atmosphere. So if we can come to a church that has a fellowship hall, we would rather do it around round tables so that we can teach. What we do is we do 5 sessions, we teach a session, and then we have a 20-minute session or time so that you sitting around the tables can discuss questions that we've given you with your other pastor friends and make new friends. And the reason I did the whole thing about turning off the LED lights was because some of our churches don't have that stuff. And so,
Right.
so what we want you to do when you come to the conference is we want to encourage you. We want you to be replenished, and we want you to feel built up. Because sometimes the truth is you can go to conferences and leave worse than you came. And so that's the reason we're not anti lights, but
Sure.
but we want everybody to feel that the ground is level as they come to the conference.
Right. It sounds a lot different, quite honestly, than many of the conferences
Hmm.
that I've been to,
Yeah.
because often you leave those conferences and you're more frustrated
Hmm.
than when you came, because you see all of the things that are possible, but you're just not there yet, or uh, it's not what God has in store for you, or so many different things. But you can leave those conferences, especially, I like the fact that this conference, there's going to be opportunity to ask questions,
Hmm.
opportunity to bounce some things around.
One of the things that happens is when you go to the big conferences, if you're at a small church, typically what happens is you leave that conference with one of two thoughts. You either leave going, I could never do what they do. Just it wouldn't work. So you leave discouraged, or worse, you leave and you think, I'm going to try that. And so
Yeah.
you go back and you go to a church and you're in rural Alabama and you come in and you put a hazer machine. It's not smoke, it's a hazer. You put a hazer machine in your church, and 2 weeks later, you're looking for a new job because your people aren't ready for that. And so
Right.
much of the application, and I want to say this, a lot of the larger conferences, their hearts are sincere. They are trying to tell you how they grew, but so much of that doesn't relate to us. And one of the things that I think is unique about what we do at 95 Network, because we have a lot of our staff and our consultants are either have worked in or in a small church. I pastored a small church for 12 years. Bobby, the majority of the consultants out there today have not even worked in a church,
Yeah.
specifically haven't worked in a small church. And so there's a dynamic that we have in the small church that is just different. And so we've curtailed the day to meet the needs of the small church pastor right where they are.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Tell me this: who can benefit from this conference? I know we
Great
call it
question.
small church conference. Is this just for pastors?
Nope. Mm-mm. Now we've designed it so that if you're a pastor, if you're a staff member, if you're a board member, we actually had one church in Iowa where they had a church of 35 and 28 of their people came to the conference. That was a little extreme, but it's designed for anybody who's serving in any capacity in a small church. One of the things that we have discovered over the years is a lot of small church pastors are bivocational. And that doesn't mean you're less than. In fact, honestly, sometimes you're healthier than people who work full time in a small church
Absolutely.
because you're
Yeah.
not controlled by the money. But
Right.
we want to provide two slots, two opportunities for you to be able to come. So we're doing the Tuesday conference. If you can make the Tuesday conference, that'll be awesome. But if you can't, we're also doing a Saturday conference. And I've been doing more and more and more over the last year and a half well, kind of before the pandemic, but even since the pandemic, I've been doing more and more Saturday conferences to accommodate small church pastors. Hey, the conference we run a very tight schedule. I want you to know that. That thing's going to start at 9 o'clock and it's going to be done no later than 3, probably get done before that. And so we want to make sure that you understand we respect your time. We want it to be of great value to you. But we wanted to give the opportunity if you are bivocational and you cannot make that Tuesday conference to give you at least another option that maybe you could attend on that Saturday.
Tell me a little bit about your book and why you wrote it.
I wrote a book based out of my own crash and burn, if you will. The book is entitled Stalled: Hope and Help for Pastors Who Thought They'd Be There by Now. Because I reached a place in my life, I pastored a small church for 12 years and it grew from 30 to 300 back to 150 because we had a horrible split. And the horrible split was because it wasn't because I had a moral failure, I had a leadership failure. I had areas in my life where I needed to grow in my leadership and I refused to do it, and it all blew up in my face. And I began to feel less than. A lot of small church pastors feel less than. I'll give more details about of how the book came about. We just really want to encourage you guys. We've got the link here for you. Bobby will include that here in the email of how you can sign up. But we want you to come join us. If you have any questions at all, reach out to Bobby. You can contact me at dale@95network.org. The number's 9 and 5. Don't write out the word 95. But we just want to be there for you to encourage you, strengthen you. And look, please let your friends know about this conference. It's only $35. I mean, it's about as cheap as it gets. So we want you to come, be part of that, and join us that day. Man, I can't wait to be with you guys in Pelham, Alabama, home of Dabo Sweeney.
Yeah. Alabama does a great job, man, of
Yo,
training leaders, don't we?
yeah, you do. You keep giving Clemson the best. That's awesome, man. Looking forward to it.
We are too, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.